Hi, and welcome to the CD&R Railroad, where today I'm going to just focus on my grain bin setup here, talk a little bit about it. It's where a lot of my farm scenes that come from that I post on Facebook. I farm for a living, and so I enjoy modeling farm scenes here in HO scale. This is the auger, if any of you had seen a post of. I'm actually having some decals made for it. It's a Westfield brand auger. It's 125 feet long in real life, 17 and a quarter inches in HO scale. It raises 86 feet. This one here will raise 12 inches to depict the 86 feet there. And the transport height that it goes down to is 13 feet 6 inches, and that's what it actually does in real life. So I've got it also to where it all works, and it will raise up and down. But the main thing I want to talk about is grain bin operation here. These are called grain bins, not silos. These are not called silos. Those over there are silos. They're made out of concrete. And the other silo is when you're at, see a barn on a farm, like a dairy barn or something, and you'll see the big silo up beside it. That's usually concrete, or them blue harvestors. Those are also called silos. Anything that is metal here, though, that has this type of a look, is called a grain bin. So just remember that these are grain bins and not silos. These are called grain legs because it takes the grain from the ground up and disperses it to the grain bins. These, I meant to look up the angles. We do not have a grain leg on our farm, so I can't remember what the degree is. But they have to be a certain degree or the grain will not flow. And if it's too steep of a degree, it goes down the tube too fast. It can actually hit into the bin and actually start wearing the bin out, or crack the grain when it hits the floor, and then you got damage to the grain and you don't get your price. You get docked. But I want to explain a few of these bins here. What is this? Well, you see this from Walthers. They call it a surge bin. Farmers' terms, that's a holding bin right there for the wet crop. Most of the time the corn, I'm going to just use corn for an example, comes out of the field at 18, 20%, 17%. To store it, to keep it from spoiling, you need it to be at 14, 15%. So you would be and you might ask, well, why are we harvesting the grain that wet and just let it dry out in a field? Well, there's a number of things. Timing, could be big rains coming in. Maybe it's been a bad year and it's not drying down right. The plant died sooner than it should have, so the corn's not drying right. But you got to go ahead and get it out of the field. So this was made by Walthers. This is a grain dryer. It's called a continuous flow dryer. And so your wet corn would come up this grain leg. You'd have to have two legs here to depict a scene like this. This leg is for the pit down here. The truck would drive on it, dump grain into the pit. Then comes over, an auger conveyors are down in there, pulls it over to the grain leg. The grain leg then dumps it into the holding bin. The holding bin then holds this grain and it goes into the grain dryer here. And it goes in the tubes and up and down, up and down, up and down. It's a continuous flow, so there's a continuous flow of corn. It's not fast. It's pretty slow. And as it comes out then, the dry corn is then dumped into this leg, which then goes to all of the grain legs or bins that you want it to go into. And this thing at the top, they call them a distributor. And they actually have shutoffs up in there and it to where it needs to go. These bins here are made by Rix, R-I-X. There's the 36 footers and the 44 footers. And then this is made by Walthers. These grain legs are made by Rix. And then Walthers actually makes the bigger grain leg here. Let me get it here. They actually make the bigger grain leg. This is like a 90-footer or so. It would depict about 90 feet. These are depicting probably about 65 feet. So you really need to have a grain leg that's going to have enough height that's going to let your grain flow right. This angle here is not quite right because I needed one more section to make this right, to really be the right way. But like I said, this is where a lot of my scenes come from. I just use a fine ballast, or a real fine ballast, or some real fine sands or whatever I've sifted and ran a magnet over so that they're not picking up any metallics. I then just glue it down with a 50-50 mixture of white glue and water. Just little details that I still need to add yet. There's doors that go on these yet. I'm going to actually weather these a little bit more. You know, I've had photos on here before, and people, you know, will say that, hey, you need to have them rusted. Well, not every grain bin is rusted. These, you know, there's painters that come around and will paint these bins over a period of years. And so this is a common color for a lot of bins. It is a gray. When they're brand new, they're galvanized and it's brand new and they have that shiny look, but that soon fades quickly. And these are made out of galvanized steel. Well, sometimes the bins are repainted in aluminum color, or they're painted a little bit darker gray. So that's kind of what I'm depicting here, that these have just been painted and that bin's just been erected. But one thing that I am going to do here, because these are just sitting on here so I can lift them off, you do have once in a while where bins are patched. The rings get bad, weak, so you have to patch them. And there is various, so I am going to do that look and different things. And maybe I will have, like this one, rusted a little bit. I'm going to actually be posting some photos. I tried to weather a grain bin, but that's a little tricky because you can't, it's hard to get it to act like it's running down because of the rings catches it and it wants to run horizontally. So that's just a little tricky to get that true look. And that is something that I'm working on, and if I get that figured out, I'm going to post a video on it. I do have a lot more of this little scene to show, but I will be long-winded if I do, so I'm just right now showing this. My next video, I'm just going to make a quick little tour here of what I've got. This is where most of my scenes come from, and this is what I will be talking about in my next video that I have. So anyway, just wanted you to see a little bit of this. Real quick here, a little piece of information. This is my little bear figure. You might have seen a lot of those posts of him. It's just some little fun little thing that I like doing. This world is full of negativeness and all kinds of hatred and stuff, and I've just got this little bear around just as being that he's a friendly bear and he's not going to hurt anybody, and that's why I move him around. I hope I don't bore people with that or you get tired of it, but it's just something I enjoy doing, is moving him around, and I like having little like comical scenes of different things too. So hope you enjoyed this, and like I said, I will be explaining more of my other things later on. So thanks again, and have a great day.